I think it's really important that we create a culture within our churches where we're speaking the gospel to one another in the context of everyday life. So we're very used to the idea that on Sunday we preach the gospel, but what we want to create is a culture where people, just in their ordinary interactions with one another, are gospeling one another, if I can turn that into a verb. That idea that we're just sharing the gospel, encouraging one another, challenging one another with the gospel. And that's about teaching people to do that, encouraging them to do that, modeling that, inviting that into your own life. But here's one very simple way that we can begin to do that in a church, and that's to encourage people to think of the Sunday morning sermon as setting the agenda for discipleship throughout the week. And so encourage people to follow that up with one another, perhaps within their small groups or just in their day-to-day interaction with one another, to ask, how did God speak to you through the sermon, or to ask more specific questions related to its content. So, for example, if I were to come to you and say, how much do you give to the Lord's work? You know, that would be a rather abrasive question in many cultures, and you might find that a bit shocking. Someone might be kind of picking on you. But if the sermon has been talking about giving, it becomes a much more natural context in which to follow that up and to pursue that and to really sort of push the application down into people's lives. So that's one of the things. And you can do that even in the sermon. You can sort of throw out a question. You might want to ask one another this question throughout the week. So just to encourage a culture where people are using the Sunday morning sermon as a sort of springboard to disciple one another with the gospel.